start, though, outside of Georgia camp with the latest in the SEC East. And, of course, the huge news that Dan Mullen has been let go at Florida. So famously, he made a comment just a few weeks ago regarding recruiting and wasn't taken too well. It could have been taken out of context. I don't know. I see both sides of it, but it's not necessarily a message you want to be sending to your fan base that you're not recruiting full go all the time, pedal to the metal like Kirby Smart. And obviously Dan Mullen was getting beaten upside the head in terms of recruiting, and it's shown most recently on the field. So how is the Georgia fan base reacting to the Florida news and Dan Mullen and his dismissal?
We're devastated. I mean, not only did they fire Todd Grantham, which is probably one of the best defensive coordinators I think they've had down there. I think now they fired Dan Mullen. It seems to be a curse at Florida where if you win your side of the division, within a year or two, they're going to fire you. Same thing happened to Mr. McElwain. Went out and won the division a couple of times, and you know what? They just won't tolerate that kind of success down at Florida. It's a real shame.
So the case for Dan Mullen can be made on both sides. I don't think anybody gains that kind of position without knowing football. And obviously his mind in offensive football is one of the best in the business, developing quarterbacks, play calling, building an offensive system. And he had success at Mississippi State, again, considering the circumstances and the challenges to win there, moves to Florida. And ironically, in the same season that he gains all this, and it came from me as well, so I'm not going to take myself out of this category, all sorts of issues that I won't detail, but if you need to do your homework out there, against Texas A&M, against Missouri, in the bowl game against Oklahoma, a lot of buffoonery off the field. They beat Georgia. They won the East. They gave Alabama, in some regards, its toughest game of the season. So he had a successful year, but it was a year filled with all sorts of issues and challenges. So now he moves on. But what is the rivalry in terms of Georgia, Florida, and where that stands? Because the Florida people are going to hang on the national championship difference, but Georgia obviously is a much better program as of right now.
Well, I mean, to give as much respect as we can to Dan Mullen. I mean, while we do like to, rib each other back and forth, Dan Mullen really is a great coach. Now, I'm not sure if the head coaching position is the best position for him, but as far as, being able to put together a game plan, I think the guy does an outstanding job. I think some of the things of head coaching kind of maybe get away from him a little bit. Recruiting is definitely one of the things that he seems to struggle with, and he's not well known for doing. But as far as developing quarterbacks, I mean, he's got a great reputation. So, hats off to what he was able to do for the program. And they did go out and they won a division. And, they have one of the best tight ends of all time at Florida, and Kyle Pitts. And you can't really take that away from him. And if you look at the contrast between Kyle Trask the year prior and then the Kyle Trask the year where they won that division, where they made it to Atlanta, you could really see how he developed and how he was molded. He didn't just magically come out of spring practice and all of that stuff click for him. So Dan Mullen did do a great job in developing a lot of the quarterbacks. But unfortunately, when you're working in a Power 5 school, especially a prominent SEC school, you've got to have all of the pieces to be able to put it together. And Dan Mullen just doesn't seem to have those. And unfortunately, from Florida fans, the rivalry between Georgia, while it is, Georgia does lead the series right now, I tell everybody this: I don't want your team to be down. I don't want your team to turn into, say, a Vanderbilt. I want your team to be an LSU of old, an Auburn of old, a Tennessee of old, and a Florida of old. And that way, when we play you, the game does mean more. So if you beat a number 2 or number 3 ranked Clemson when they're really, really good, that's a different team than the team we saw at the beginning of the season. So I want to see those teams do well. I just don't feel like Dan Mullen is the guy for that. As far as the rivalry goes, that's always going to be one of the classic rivalries in college football. There's tons of people that show up and they do the pop-up projector screens, and you can watch them out in different parks and parking lots. It's quite an environment. Not necessarily one I would bring my kids to, but it's a very exciting environment. I'm excited to see who they're going to find as a head coach to fill that role. I absolutely believe that they're going to be looking for somebody who can not only coach and develop players, but somebody who can really recruit those players and is willing to take on the task of recruiting in Florida. Right now, there's no reason why, the only SEC program in Florida is not dominant in recruiting. FSU's not a powerhouse right now. Miami's not a powerhouse right now. You know, you can make comments about UCF if you like, but there's no reason why the Florida Gators in Gainesville, which is practically centrally located in Florida, or as centrally as you can, they should be absolutely killing it in recruiting. And for the life of me, I can't understand why. If Florida wants to become dominant again, and for lack of a better term, a way of saying it, to make this rivalry mean more than it used to make it more exciting, you can't just have the X's and O's. You got to have the Jimmies and the Joes. And right now, they don't have the Joes. So they got to fix that first and foremost.